2-1 first period. Fort Worth doing the same things that put them ahead last night. They're hitting, they're moving the puck, and they're getting great goaltending.
Definitely the great goaltending. Isn't this wonderful for the Fort Worth Fire to have a great 1-2 punch? And not that Phil Groneveld and Steve Plouffe weren't great last year, but you know, it looks like Delormier and Plouffe are going to be a real nice combination. That's good to see so early in the season.
Fire start this period off on a power play as Melnichuk has a minute 10 remaining on his minor. And the Fire trying to get something started with the man advantage. That's McCourt pushing it ahead for LaRock. He had a goal and an assist in the first period. Now shorthanded, Trevor Job. He had the Wichita goal. His shot high. And Fort Worth will take over. This is Ryan Black. Good first period for him as well. He made a lot of things happen. Now O'Donnell. McCourt. Back in the center for LaRock off his skate, and Dave Shoot with it. O'Donnell couldn't get it away from him. Shoot with Painter, and that one way high and away. Shoot takes it off the backboard. O'Donnell there, and here comes Glenn Painter with it. Now McCourt, 17 on the power play. His shot sticked out of there by Kevin St. Pierre. McCourt, the one-timer. Deflected high by Bobby Cunningham. Painter sends it around. Cam Plant and Pollock now. LaRock, oh, he had Black in front. Couldn't get it to him. Power play is over. Melnichuk back out on the ice. Fire still trying to keep it in the zone. David Shoot for Wichita gets it out of there. Melnichuk sends it in and will head off the ice. Glenn Painter just underway. Second period, 2-1 Fire. Here at the Will Rogers Coliseum, Cameron heading after it. Cunningham's pass, an errant one, and he turns it over here. A chance for Ryan Phillips. David Shoot knocked away. Good anticipation by Delormier. Wichita holding it in. DeBono rifles one. Held in by Fitzpatrick. This is onside. Ryan Phillips. Dosdall got it back to Phillips. Sticks aside by Delormier. Phillips. Painter riding him off the play. Phillips able to get up and keep it in the zone. In front. Dosdall knocked away. Delormier, another great save. Dosdall right at the doorstep. Maybe too close to Delormier. Didn't have an angle. And DeBono hitting the post with that slap shot. He had Delormier beat on that one. And it clipped the top of the red iron. Painter. Cunningham. Battling Phillips for it. Gets it back to Painter. Now centering pass. Neil Johnston and McGeegan slapping it around. Held in. Shot wide by Fitzpatrick for Wichita. Puck has been in the Fire zone a long time here. And finally Cunningham gets it out. But St. Pierre plays it. No icing. Fitzpatrick leveled by Brian Caruso. Bird lost the puck. O'Donnell couldn't get it out of the zone. Johnston keeping it in. Brian Wells' team doing a great job here. Job hit the side of the net. Berg won the battle along the boards. Plant. Job. Plant with it behind the net. O'Donnell. Job. Caruso had a swipe at his DeVono. Teams are at even strength here, but it sure does look like Wichita's on the power play. Fedorov, deflection. Job couldn't put it home. Finally, Caruso able to get it out of the zone. Knocked back in. Delayed icing waved off. Or delayed offsides waved off. Now Caruso. Mullins overled him. Wichita turning and going. Job couldn't get to it. Murray Hogg, and that will be icing. Job arguing, thought the Fire player had touched it, but this will come back to the Wichita zone for the faceoff.
Job and Fedorov both with some very good opportunities, and I'm not quite sure why they were able to put it together. As you said, it looked like a power play for the Wichita Thunder, yet both teams were even strength. Russ, did you see anything specific that, that...
We'll go down to Richard Durr. Richard, first period, Fire kept it in the Wichita zone. This time it's been all Wichita.
It has been all Wichita, and you'd think it's been a power play type situation, but it hasn't. I want to update you on the situation involving Terry Menard. Menard has been sent to the hospital. He was hit on the face not by a stick, but by a skate. And the cut was so close to the eye that the fire trainers didn't want to take any chances. They sent him to a local hospital and let them patch it up, but it's not as serious as that may sound. So Menard is in the hospital, but this is not a horrible situation. He did not get cut in the eye, just close to the eye, and they're going to stitch him up.
Thank you very much, Richard. Marty Melnichuk, and that's a big loss for the Fire, Paula.
Definitely.
Terry Menard. Stefan LaRock feeding McGeegan. Couldn't get the stick down. Shot by Painter. Glove save. St. Pierre.
Couple more inches to the right, and that one would have been out of St. Pierre's reach.
2-1 Fort Worth. That lead has appeared tenuous at best this second period. Goals in the first period by McGuigan and LaRock. O'Donnell assisted on both, and LaRock and McGeegan assisting on each other's goals.
Something that this Fort Worth Fire team is supposed to do this year is spread the scoring around. Last year, Kyle Reeves took care of most of the Fire scoring, and they don't want that situation happening again. So he's tried to find guys. He's mixed a lot of, a lot of different style players together to hopefully be able to spread the scoring around. This line is a perfect example of Malcolm Cameron, Brian Caruso, two big guys with a skill guy like Bobby Cunningham.
This is Cunningham. He's got Caruso with him. Cunningham pushing through, knocked away by DeVono. Now Wichita. Fitzpatrick sending it into the zone. Now Caruso. Up to Cameron. Now Cunningham with Cameron looking for Caruso. It'll go all the way to the side. Funk down there. That's his name, Clark Funk. Not the sound he made when he hit the board.
That would be Funk.
That would be Funk. And the Fire take over. Murray Hogg with the puck. Caruso. And that Cunningham-Caruso-Cameron line will exit. O'Donnell's line is on. Playing with Black and also Dwight Mullins. Melnichuk at manning it. Bob Berg shooting well wide. Held in at the point. Serious collision in that face-off circle. Berg ended up with it. One-timer Plant put it wide. Centered for Plant. Looking back to Fedorov. He throws it in front. Shot saved by Delormier again on Berg's shot. And now some fisticuffs perhaps.
Hello.
Joe barreling in there. Looking at Mullins. Boy, there could be instigating here. That was that Jeff Pollock? No,
Yes.
It was Melnichuk.
Oh.
That's Mullins and Melnichuk squaring off. Job and Berg also involved in that scrum. Dwight Mullins, who, according to the official CHL records, picked up 39 penalty minutes last night.
Give or take.
We counted him for fewer, but we still had him with a lot. And he and Melnichuk will get to sit down for a while. Delormier again, though, Paula, coming up big.
I know, and it...
And Mullins
Don't you love
cross-checked
that?
him.
Hogg is like, yeah, you'd like that rebound? I don't think so, because I'm going to push you in the face, okay? That's defense.
If Dwight Mullins doesn't get called for a cross-check there, he could have. Melnichuk is going to get an instigating, it looks like, because they've given him the game misconduct. They're sending him off. An instigating penalty is only a 2-minute minor, but it carries with it a game misconduct. So Mullins is sitting. Don't know if they have 2 minutes showing on the board. That will be for Melnichuk's instigating. Doesn't look like they've given Mullins any other penalty other than the fighting so far.
Maybe they figured he had enough last night. They'd lay off a little.
He needs to get a little exercise while he's out here playing this hockey game.
Definitely.
The Fire have had a disturbing number tonight of one man on the goaltender situations. Now, Delormier has come up big. There's Brian Wells. We will talk to him between the second and third periods. Wichita coach.
Too bad we can't do that live to talk to him about this period.
Well, what Melnichuk did there was somewhat vintage Brian Wells during his playing career. Richard, go ahead.
Speaking of Brian Wells, the man with 407 penalty minutes himself, a new CHL record last year. So this guy certainly knows about being in the box. The Fire, though, also know about fighting. A lot of fights last night. I thought maybe that would take the fight out of him, but Bill McDonald says this is a physical team. I don't think he's surprised they've already gotten into it, and we all know that Dwight Mullins has never met a fight he didn't want to get into, so he has to join the melee, too. Interesting game so far.
What's great about Mullins is that I'm not sure that he's the best fighter in the world, but he's never afraid to fight.
And they're going to call this a two-line pass. So it will come back. Fort Worth is on the power play here. That instigating penalty is being served by Clark Funk.
Who you have on the ice here is O'Donnell, a Black, and is that LaRock on the end over there?
Yes.
And then on defense,
Painter and Strohak.
Which is a nice offensive-defensive combination there.
Here's Glenn Painter with the puck. Into the offensive zone, looking for Black, deflected out of there. And O'Donnell held it in. Got it off that blue line. Back out to Strohak. And LaRock pushing with Cam Plant down there. And Berg able to get it out of the zone. Painter quickly to it. Wichita will change here. And LaRock. Now O'Donnell trying to get it back to Strohak. He plays it off the boards for O'Donnell again. Now LaRock and Cam Plant back to take it. Wichita has won a fairly good number of the battles along the boards tonight, Paul.
I would say, I don't know. I think that Fort Worth has done their share of mucking and grinding, but definitely this period, Wichita has come out ahead.
Behind the net, McCourt. Pushed off the play by Plant, and Wichita is able to clear again. That time Neil Johnston got it out of there. 19 seconds on the power play. Fort Worth without a shot. Bobby Cunningham breaking out for the Fire. McCourt. Cameron with him. Goes to the opposite corner with it. 5 seconds. You hear the stick of Delormier alerting his teammates that Funk is about to come out of the box. He is now back on the ice. Remember, in the first period, Allen had a great scoring chance that he was unable to convert, coming straight out of the box and taking part in a breakaway.
Well, Steve Carter, who was along the Fort Worth Fire boards over there, had two Wichita Thunder players who are thinking just that. They hear their goalie, rapping his stick on the ice, letting him know their guy's going to be out of the box. If they can get that puck away from Carter and shoot it across the ice, well, then he has that opportunity to possibly score. But Carter quickly kept the puck between his skates and the boards. Wouldn't let anybody get at it.
St. Pierre sending it to the board. Fitzpatrick sends it up ahead for Phillips. Hogg. It rolls to the backside board. Cunningham plays it around for Caruso. Through to DeVono. And Caruso put Fitzpatrick or Dosdall down on the ice. And Hogg had his helmet knocked off by Clark Funk. Cunningham, a centering pass. And Caruso sends it up and out of the zone. DeVono there. He's got the puck now after a pass from Dosdall. Takeaway by Caruso at the center red line. Bill McDonald wants a change. Phillips. Send it up ahead for Dosdall. Now sent back. And Corey Dosdall with it. Devono sends it in behind the Fire net. Delormier playing it there. He tripped up his own defenseman, Painter. Vern Ray unloading on Bob Berg. McGeegan got it out of the zone. He struggles with Fedorov. O'Donnell lending some weight there. Now Fedorov sends it across and it's pounded back into the zone. Cam Plant with the puck for Wichita. Now Fedorov. And Plant again. Looking for his defense partner Pollock. Instead, Plant will hold on to it. And he's going to skate in circles. A fine figure eight there completed by Plant. But he passes the puck to Bill McGeegan. Not sure the point of all that. Jeff Pollock sends it up ahead. Knocked down by Berg. He's got Jove in the middle. Feeds him goal.
Yeah, that was just a little too easy. It was pretty much a 3-on-2. And they basically, I don't really think that needed to happen. But you've got they have some skilled offense up front, as I was saying, and they're going to put away an opportunity like that. Trevor
Jobe has beaten a lot of goalies in his day, and he's got 2 goals already tonight. Berg assisting on both of them.
A nice pass, and, well, it's already over by that point, but a very, very quick snap of a wrist shot.
9:36, 2-2 game now. We'll go to Richard Durrett.
Well, you had to think the Fire couldn't last the onslaught put on by the Wichita Thunder, just pounding it inside the Fire zone. Finally, they do get the goal and a nice one. Nothing the Fire could do about that. But I think right now being outskated and outpassed are the Fort Worth Fire. They need to get their heads back in this game.
That's where the loss of Terry Menard certainly hurts his team. In case you're just joining us, he went out of the game earlier. A skate up in the facial area. He's at the hospital, apparently going to be all right, as Richard Durrett reported to us earlier. But they are taking all the precautions needed. Mike McCourt. Ryan Black back to Mike McCourt. He took a hit from Allen. Wichita gets it out of there. McCourt lost it to Black. Sent across, shoot, and that was David Shute, the former NHLer, firing it in on Delormier. Fort Worth, this is really the first, if you want to call it a sluggish stretch that they've had, Paula.
Yeah, it's kind of uncharacteristic. I don't know if it has anything to do with Terry Menard or everything to do with Terry Menard, but Menard is the kind of guy, I mean, McDonald surely would have loved to have brought Menard here last season, but Menard was offered the assistant coaching position at Thunder Bay, and he said he just wasn't ready to leave yet, but after a nice talk with McDonald over the summer and Vern Ray, he decided he would join the team, and the Macker's happy to have a guy who can really change the tempo of a game.
Held in by Larocque. O'Donnell's got it. Back to Larocque. He cranks one. Pad save by St. Pierre. Johnston dropping it in the opposite side. Phillips going to turn and fire off Hogg's skate. O'Donnell, it comes back and bounced right through the crease. Devono. To Dosdall behind the net, centered, and O'Donnell going to get a cross-checking penalty here. He put Phillips on the ice. St. Pierre skates off. Hogg freeing the puck for O'Donnell, and this will be a Thunder power play. They're going to call it an interference penalty.
I would say at this point in the period, not only is the momentum already with the Wichita Thunder, they're going to get a little more now.
Mullins has finished his fighting major, so he goes off. And O'Donnell with the interference call.
And losing O'Donnell from the ice obviously is something you don't want to do. He's a nice big two-way forward. He has good hands, good skating skills.
There was the penalty right there.
Also a good cross-checker. I understand.
They called it an interference as Allen was waiting for the puck. With 8:07 to go in this second period, all of a sudden it's a tie hockey game. Fort Worth a man down. We talked about some of the offensive firepower that Wichita has. There's a lot of it on the ice right now. Jobe, Plant, Berg all out there, along with Jamie Allen, the veteran. physical side as well. Jeff Pollock bounces it off the board. Now Joe around to Bob Berg. Cam Plant. Job looking to give it back to Berg. He's ridden off it by Carter. Carter dives, couldn't get it out. Job has possession. Forced to send it out to the point. Cam Plant goal. Allen may have deflected it. And if he did not deflect it, he certainly set up a good screen in front, Richard.
Sure looked like to me he deflected it and did the same thing, setting up a screen. Just got his stick on it enough to deflect it to the other side of the net. No chance at all. Let's see if we can catch it on the replay. There the puck comes, and it is deflected. Allen did get a piece of that puck. Delorme just tried to make some kind of play at it, but couldn't do anything more than what he did. And Wichita is just taking the steam out of the Fort Worth Fire. This was a 2-0 game, 2-1 at the end of one period, but 2 straight goals by Wichita. They've got the momentum. It just appears that the Fire are sluggish. They're getting out-hustled. They're getting out-handled with the stick, and I think the physical play that we saw from the Fire in the first period is non-existent here in the second. Those are some things I think Coach McDonald will address in this last 7 minutes and in the locker room preparing for the third period.
And you alluded to the physical play, Richard. Not hard to see who wasn't on the ice the last 5 minutes. Dwight Mullins serving that 5-minute fighting major, and if the Fire are going to set a physical tone, he's the guy that does it. Guys don't much like to go to the corners when Dwight Mullins is on the ice.
You also have to remember that this is a 17-man roster, a 17-man bench. So you lose Terry Menard, that's 1 gone. You lose Dwight Mullins to the box, that's 2. You're running with 15. That means you're short 2 forwards out of your lineup. You still got your D. But that's still uncomfortable because it begins to mess with the chemistry of your lines, which you're just beginning to set because it's the beginning of the year. So
Devono fires one, and that hit his teammate Phillips up maybe in the head. He's okay. Phillips is up, but there's some confrontation on the far side. And we'll have the face-off over to Deloremere's left side. Deloremere diving to make that save. 7:11 to go. Second period, 3-2 in favor of the visiting Wichita Thunder. We will go ice side to Richard Durrett.
Just a quick point about Deloremere. I think that's the first time I've seen him actually come out of the crease to some sort of extent. It's interesting the way he plays his goaltending position. One of these wait-and-see type goaltenders knows where the pads need to be and makes the plays, but doesn't come out of the net too much to cut down the angle. It's worked for him, but that's maybe the first time I've actually seen him sprawl for a puck outside the crease.
David Shute knocking that one into Deloremere's pads. 5-on-5 hockey. And Deloremere has played a pretty solid game tonight. Now Vern Ray. Up from Mullins. Knocked back by Devono's glove. Ray picks it up. He'll skate it into the zone. Slap shot wide. Painter and Caruso dropping along the boards. Mullins laid a check on Clint Black. Caruso knocked out of there. Painter holds it in the zone. He cranks one, deflected high. Mullins may have gotten a stick on it. Now Mullins pursues it to the corner. It's lifted out of the zone by Fedorov, and Mullins, I think, or by Allen. Mullins, I think, going to get hit with a penalty here. It looked like he might have slashed him after the play, Richard.
Blatant slashing, and hello, Dwight Mullins. I think we knew when he returned to the ice. Holy cow. The physical play just stepped up another notch, and Mullins was madder than a dog in a hubcap factory, and he took it out on several Wichita Thunder. But unfortunately, instead of taking it out by checking, he took it out by slashing that last time, and he'll spend his time in the box. And you'll see it right here. This is absolutely blatant. Watch it as he slams him against the boards, and then right here, the slash. Can't do that, Dwight, and that'll cost him time in the box.
Jamie Allen was the player he slashed. Allen playing in the Southern League last year with Winston-Salem. That league no longer with us, so he's with Wichita this year.
You know, sometimes it's interesting how these players view penalties. I think we on the outside think, gosh, you know, Dwight, why'd you hack at that guy? But, you know, sometimes they'll view it as, well, we had a real strong shift there. We were very aggressive and physical. We sent a message, you know? So I don't know how much good can come out of sitting in the penalty box for 2 minutes, but, you know, I think sometimes they view that as a momentum changer.
They have also given Allen a high sticking penalty here, so it is Mullins. Apparently, we may have missed the high stick, and it was apparently a retaliatory penalty.
It was well deserved, definitely. I mean, Allen did have his stick up when Mullins went in to check him, and it was up at about, you know, above his shoulders.
This will be 4-on-4. Back around, Hogg there for Fort Worth. Near sideboard, Strohack over there for the Fire. Knocked down by David Shute. He backhands it in. Puck centered. Plant couldn't get to it. And Pollock will have to chase it all the way back into the Wichita zone. Pushed off the puck by Caruso. Now Cam Plant for the Thunder. Drop pass. David Shute couldn't get around Strohack. Strohack got the stick into him there. Now Caruso. Minute 14 on the coincidental minors. Strohack with 5:40 in the period across the blue line. Fire getting a line change, looking for Cameron, streaking into the slot area. Pollock now with Cam Plant for the Thunder. Trying to evade Cameron back there. Trevor Jobe has the puck. Now Pollock. Jeff Pollock, we're inside 45 seconds on the coincidental penalties. And Pollock with a shot. The defenseman carrying it all the way in. Jobe fighting Malcolm Cameron. Jobe kicking it out of there. Cameron battling with him. Cameron finally wins it to the sideboard. 30 seconds in the penalty. We're 4-on-4 here. Cameron deflected it away. Now he'll control. He's got Black up ahead if he can get it to him. Black came to get the pass. He shoots, deflected wide by a diving DeVono. Now Black. Ryan Black for Fort Worth. DeVono had it, cleared it to the side. Jobe will take it. Malcolm Cameron pushing Jobe off the puck. Couldn't find the disc, however. Now Plant. Coincidental penalties are over. Allen and Mullins back out on the ice. Mullins. He's got it right side. O'Donnell with him. Mullins shoots, kicked away by St. Pierre. Knocked back around. And Jobe picks it up for Wichita. 4:15 to go in the period. Trevor Jobe carrying it in. His lead pass. Too much for Fitzpatrick. And Bobby Cunningham for Fort Worth. Cunningham got around Phillips pretty easily there. Into the zone. Fire with some fresh players on. Tried to drop that foot of rock. Couldn't get it to him. Thunder turning around. Vern Ray will have to chase this icing. It's going to be a race, and Ray gets there first. Neil Johnston was steaming after him.
Gosh, that really makes me nervous. I mean, I don't mean to be a little wimpy about this, but whenever you have two big, large players with a full head of steam going from center ice to the end boards, both going for the same small black piece of vulcanized rubber, you're just asking for a collision and an injury. What comes to mind is a 6'4", 230-pound Mark Tenorti on the Dallas Stars, who broke his femur, the largest bone in your body. And on a man that big and strong, a defenseman, it's amazing that's what that kind of impact can occur on those end boards when you're skating that quickly, just for an icing. So I know we've talked in the past about the automatic icing, the possibility of bringing that into the league as a rule and into the NHL, but it still hasn't happened.
This face-off down by St. Pierre. Richard Durd is ice side. We'll go to Richard.
Well, St. Pierre's been pretty strong himself. We haven't heard too much from him. We've been talking about the Fort Worth Fire goaltenders as that puck gets underneath one of the officials, and we hope he's all right. Looks like he is, but they had to
Randy Watkins down there.
Blow the whistle. But St. Pierre's he's been steady, especially here in the second period. But the Fire have gained something back. They're a little more physical. There's a little more hustle out there. They've had more chances in the last couple of minutes. If Mullins can stay out of the penalty box and commit himself to playing physical hockey here at the end of the second and the beginning of the third period, the Fire can stay right in the thick of this. They're in this thing down 3-2. They just need a momentum, and they need a goal.
Wichita coming back, 3.5 to play in the period. Vern got it. Fans would have liked an interference call there, but no such thing. Bill McGeegan lost the puck. Dosdall back with it for the Thunder. Kicked away by Ray. Neil Johnston for Wichita. Back to Johnston. O'Donnell right with him. Ray kicked it out of the crease. It's into the neutral ice, and Pollock could take it. Now McGeegan for the Fire. Oh, he could have centered for O'Donnell. Couldn't get it off his stick. Now Painter taking it away from Dosdall. Glenn Painter skating it into the Wichita end. To the corner with it. Pollock there. Cameron laid the hip on him. Johnston for the Thunder. Leading for Shoot. David Shoot fires goal. Went high stick side that time, and Delormier couldn't knock it down. David Shoot got free in the slot for just a minute and let it fly. 4-2 now, Wichita Thunder. Take a look at the replay.
Should be coming right at the camera. I think
Delormier had a good look at it.
Yeah.
David Shoot with that quick release just put it by him. And that's a tough place to put it. That's a tough place for a goaltender to stop any shot. High stick side. So 4-2 with 2.5 to go in this second period. Fort Worth in need of a rally. Mark Strohack. Cam Plant. And Allen. All the way across for Shoot again. Trying to feed it to Allen. And the Fire take over. Mark Strohack with it. Phillips, or rather Ryan Black for the Fire. Mullins took a hit from Allen. They have gone at it all night. In the slot, McGeegan, or rather Caruso with a backhander. Black turned, his shot blocked, never got to the goalie. Fedorov beating Job, or rather Shoot. He'll send it back in. That line will get a rest for Brian Wells' team. Cunningham bringing it down the left side. Trying to get away from Funk. LaRock sent it off a skate. McGeegan's got it in the far corner. Centers, backhand shot. Deflected by LaRock, or rather by Cunningham. And St. Pierre able to cover up with 1:24.
Cunningham, I think, thought he had that. Richard, I'm sure you got a good look at that. He kind of shrugged his shoulders and, discussed that it got saved.
I think he thought he had it. And St. Pierre, I think, for a minute thought he had it too, and then realized he was lucky enough the puck hadn't crossed the red line and scooped it up as quickly as he could. The Fire trying to do what Wichita did last period, and that is get a goal in the final couple of minutes, and they had one chink off the post right there.
That was Cunningham. Both teams have hit posts tonight. Steve Carter for the Fire. Carter will reset. 60 seconds left in the second period. Leaving for Cunningham. Cunningham checked off the play by Berg. Bob Berg looking for Job in the slot, knocked away. And a good thing, too, LaRock got a piece of that. Job was alone in the slot. LaRock staying out there, long shift for him. Now he will get a break as Carter sends it in. St. Pierre had to stop it. No icing. Pollock. And Black with him. And Hansen losing sight of the puck will stop play.
I've seen Wichita. Wichita has been playing physically, but they've also been doing what I feel a lot of hooking and holding that hasn't necessarily been called. And good for them that it hasn't been called, but in terms of the Fire, they've also kept their composure, haven't seemed to retaliate too much. So, sometimes after last night, things that are going to go by one referee aren't going to go by another, and at some point the team needs to, realize what they can get away with. And I don't know, I'm kind of curious to see how much the Fire could get away with if they were hooking and holding.
certainly Wichita has had their share of unimpeded shots. Thunder controlling the faceoff. Plant sends it up and out of play. 24 seconds remain in the second period. If you're just joining us, 4-2 Wichita. Fire scored the first 2 goals in the first period. McGeegan got the first, LaRock the second, then Job scored 2. And since then, it has been all Wichita. Cam Plant sends it out of the zone, no icing. Glenn Painter fields it with 15 seconds. His pass off Job's skate. 5 seconds. Job, after he sent that in, realized it was going to be icing, never moved. He's like, there's 5 seconds left in the period. I'm the leading all-time scorer in the East Coast League. I really don't have to move if I don't want to.
I guess you can say that. You know, he once scored 50 goals in 37 games, which is a record in all professional hockey. So maybe he does have the right to just kind of kick back a little bit.
He's got 2 tonight. 5 seconds in the period. They've got Painter in there. Black is going to take the face-off. And all he can really do is try to draw it straight back. They had McCourt in there along with Painter, a couple good offensive defensemen, but Wichita controlling the draw, and they send it up and out. So the Fire, definitely a struggle in that period. They were up 2-1 after the first, and the Thunder really took it to them.
It's basically 4 unanswered goals, you know, and how do you account for that? What do you do to change it? Richard brings up a good point, more physical play, but it's a little more than that. They just seem a little uneasy with where other players are on the ice, not quite sure where, if they send it past somewhere, maybe the guy isn't there, and I don't know how much of that is due to Menard being missing, or beginning of the season kind of not quite gelled yet, or if they're just not playing very well tonight.
Richard, your thoughts?
Well, I think, obviously, if you reflect on the second period, the Thunder get a big boost. They get 3 goals to Fort Worth's none. I think out of sync is the way I would describe the Fort Worth Fire. Not only do they need some physical play, but I think where guys are on the ice, a little bit of miscommunication. The puck's not going where it should, and it's remained in the Fire zone way too long in this second period. They've got to get more physical, got to be more fundamentally sound. If they can do those 2 things, they've got a chance in the third period. But I'm pretty excited about it. I think it's a third period. The Fire can come back in this game. They're not out of it by any means. 2 goals is not a lot. And if they can come out strong in the third period, play physical, keep Dwight Mullins out of the penalty box, they can win this hockey game. We'll find out very shortly.
Well, the Wichita coach Brian Wells in his playing days could do it all. He could score, pass, and certainly fight. We talked to him before the game tonight about this team he's put together, and we'll go to that now. I'm with Brian Wells. We're here ice side at the Will Rogers Coliseum. Coach Wells, what's the difference between being a player, which you were last year, being a coach this year, and your preparation for a game?
Well, I just got to prepare everybody else now instead of just looking after myself. It's a bit bigger job, obviously, but something that I enjoy doing, and it's been fun so far.
Is this something you've kind of pointed toward for a while, that you wanted to coach, or just something that kind of came up and was a good opportunity for you?
Well, I wanted to get into coaching as my career. I played 10 years in the minors, and after a while, it's I just was kind of wondering how many more championships I needed to win before I'd be happy with myself. But so I kind of came to a crossroads there, and to move on and set some new goals for myself, and try and achieve them now is what I needed, I think.
On paper, you've got some good veteran players, some good youth as well. How do you feel like your team comes together this year?
I think, like you say, we do have some good veterans in Trevor Job and Bobby Berg and Cam Plant. And we got some good young kids from the Western League and a couple other places up in Canada where we picked up some players and a couple of good young American kids. And, we're excited about the season.
Well, we in Fort Worth certainly saw plenty of Bob Berg when he was in Wichita before. He had a real good year in the Coast League last year. How'd you get him back to the Thunder?
Well, he just enjoyed playing with us when we'd won the back-to-back championships here, and his family liked to hear his wife, and they have a little boy now, and he had friends in Wichita that he wanted to maybe end his career here, so we're happy to have him back, and he's happy to be here.
You guys looking for your first win tonight. A little bit of a slow start last night. What do you do to remedy that tonight?
Well, we just needed to get our, a little bit better coverage and defensive zone a bit. We weren't looking after our spots, and we've had a talk about that, and hopefully we'll rectify that and be able to come out and put forth a good game.
All right, we appreciate it very much, Coach. With Brian Wells, I'm Rush Olson. We'll be back with more hockey in just a moment.